This week in U.S. immigration news, we are going to cover Afghanistan designated for TPS, CDC terminates part of Trump-era border policy, Ukrainian refugees across Europe, USCIS preparing to resume public services, Haitian immigrants along Florida beach, U.S. seeking help to slow migration. The Department of Homeland Security announced the designation of Afghanistan for temporary protected status for 18 months. Only those who have been residing in the U.S. as of March 15, 2022 will be eligible for TPS. The TPS designation will protect Afghan nationals who have already been living in the U.S. from having to return to the unsafe conditions in Afghanistan. Through Operation Allies Welcome, most Afghan nationals who arrived during the Afghanistan evacuation were paroled into the U.S. on a case-by-case basis, for humanitarian reasons, for 2 years and received work authorization. These individuals will also be eligible for TPS. The CDC announced it will be ending part of Title 42. The CDC recently abolished the part of Title 42 that turned away unaccompanied migrant children at the border. The CDC responded to a Texas-based federal judge's ruling on the issue, saying that in a current termination, CDC addresses the court's concerns and has determined, after considering current public health conditions and recent developments, that expulsion of unaccompanied non-citizen children is not warranted to protect the public health. Migrant families and single adults will still be subject to Title 42. The CDC was referring to the ruling of Texas District Court Judge Mark Pittman, who argued against the Biden administration over whether Title 42 should apply to unaccompanied migrant children. Over the past 2 weeks, millions of Ukrainian refugees have left their country due to the Russian invasion. According to UN Refugee Agency Commissioner Filippo Grandi, this has been the fastest-growing refugee crisis in Europe since World War II. More than 2.5 million Ukrainians have left their country since February 24. Countries across Europe have reported a steady increase in refugees as fighting continues into its third week. Poland has received the most refugees so far. Over 245,000 Ukrainians have entered Hungary and 195,000 have gone to Slovakia. Moldova has reported about 278,000 refugees and Romania has received more than 173,000. Nearly 123,000 refugees have entered Germany.
If you are new to our channel, welcome and please subscribe to stay in the loop. We offer free 15-minute consultations if your case is qualified, so we can point you in the right direction. Stay tuned for the secret code later in the show.
USCIS is preparing some offices to reopen and resume non-emergency public services on or after June 4. Due to the spread of the coronavirus in 2020, USCIS temporarily suspended routine in-person services at its field offices and application support centers. While certain offices are temporarily closed, USCIS continues to provide limited emergency in-person services. USCIS asylum offices will automatically reschedule asylum interviews that were cancelled during the temporary closures. Asylum offices expect to conduct video-facilitated asylum interviews, where applicants will sit in one room and the interviewing officer will be in the other room. USCIS will also send notices to applicants to reschedule previously postponed naturalization ceremonies. Applicants and petitioners with previously scheduled appointments and interviews will be sent notices. Around 150 Haitian migrants took a boat to the private beach of a Summerland Key residence, about 20 miles from Key West. The boat was in poor condition and severely overcrowded. 4 migrants were taken to a local hospital due to dehydration. Last week, 356 Haitian migrants landed in the Keys on an overcrowded boat. Some migrants jumped off the vessel and tried to swim ashore. A total of 158 migrants were rescued from the water by law enforcement and given medical evaluations. An additional 198 people were still on the vessel and were safely removed, then taken into custody by the U.S. Coast Guard. Since October 1, 2021, the U.S. Coast Guard has rescued over 1,193 Haitians. The Biden administration is faced with the high likelihood of reopening the U.S. southern border to asylum seekers. The U.S. government is seeking allies in Latin America to create immigration controls and expand their own asylum programs to help ease the number of migrants coming to the U.S. border. U.S. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas went to Mexico to meet with their president over how to efficiently reopen the border and control the surge of migrants for when Title 42 restrictions are lifted. On Tuesday, Mayorkas went to Costa Rica to meet with officials to gain support and allies to control the migrant surge when restrictions are lifted. The support of both countries is important because they have their own asylum and transit routes to the U.S. for immigrants from South America and outside the Americas.
Friends, show us some love and smash the like button. It doesn't cost you anything. If you have an immigration problem or need a second opinion because you cannot get a hold of your own lawyer, schedule a meeting with our team. Share information with our CARES team and they will help you get scheduled with our legal team. Now here's a secret code to unlock the free 15 minutes.